Hello, I'm back again, reacting to another video of Internet Historian. So let's get to the video, and it's going to, well, we know he's sponsored by NordVPN in this particular video.
Oh baby, look at the size of that sponsor.
Yep, it's all fair use stuff.
Just relax. Everything's totally serene.
Okay,
You're floating through a cloud.
we are.
The sun is warm on your The end is nigh.
Oh no.
A prophecy has been foretold.
Yeah, if you didn't know, this is about one of the many times people thought the world was going to end.
The rapture is coming.
Like,
And we have the specific date.
yeah, as far as I know, nobody will ever know what the date is. It will just kind of happen, something like that.
Soon the believers will rise, and the impure will be left below. So repent, sinner. Repent! Get your affairs in order.
Well, I mean, we always need to make sure that everything is, well...
Take your preparation H.
Oh.
That's preparation for heaven. Because the
Right?
world will officially end on May 21st, 2011.
Right. I think I was visiting my mom at the time. Not that I'm not here at the moment. But I think I was where I am now. And I think I remember seeing some Facebook post, I think it was. And a relative of mine, I think, made a comment about eating a plate of spaghetti in heaven. And it's like, you really believe that? You really believe that the world is going to be ending on that date? Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
May 21, there's going to be a terrific earthquake, way greater than
Well, that didn't happen.
anything that the earth has ever experienced, and that'll be the beginning of Judgment Day.
Well, eventually there will be a judgment day, but we don't know what it's going to be like. Well, I guess technically we kind of have an idea of how the judgment time is going to be because of Revelations, but we don't really know the exact stuff. But I guess you can say we have some sort of idea, but some of that means that you have to try to interpret what's being said too, because the way Revelations is written, it is very much written in an odd way, or at least it would be, oh wow, flip-flopped. At least it would be odd for us to probably understand what's truly being said or described. Oh my, why is OBS being weird? Let me stop that thing and see if that will help at all. Okay, I'm glad that I had a pause when OBS was having trouble. Campaign.
In late 2010, a campaign was launched to save some souls.
Well, I mean, there's always been a lot of Christian campaigns launched to save people, to save people, to convert people.
They suited up, took to the streets. But it was more than just placards and flyers.
Yeah, but sometimes they're very weird in the way that they go about trying to get people to come to get saved. Sometimes it's weird, but I think more often than not, they're just kind of normal.
Soon they were joined by a caravan of 5 RVs roaming the country.
Oh, well, if I remember right, yeah, I was going to say, if I remember right, one of the places that I lived at, and they had a good news cruise, I think that's what it's called, that you could go to, I think, almost every year at the fair that I was there. Um, it's a kind of interesting. I think it's definitely more for little kids, um, not so much adults. But I do think an adult can. I do think an adult would be able to understand and learn the same message that the children would too. Like I said, I just felt that the Good News Caboose is more for the way that it is. Yeah, the presentation that it gives is more for children. But if you're an adult and you're curious, you should check it out.
Spreading the good word about the rapture. Thousands of people took it seriously.
Oh, yeah, like I said, I had a relative who said she was going to be eating some spaghetti in heaven. And yeah, I saw that and I was like, what? Really? No.
Many began selling their possessions. They were maxing out credit cards,
Yeah, that's
taking on debt. Even the news picked up on it.
The end is near.
Yeah, it didn't end.
Advertising was put on bus stops, in subways. A big expensive billboard was
Big billboard, blow the trumpet, warn the people. I mean, I agree, but well, the way how it comes to at least the Protestant teaching, the Protestant way of Christianity, there's many different ways that you can interpret that or apply it to your life or whatnot. And I don't really know if this is the way this is what it's supposed to mean, but oh well.
put up. Then another. Then another. Then
A lot of billboards.
5,000 more. In fact,
Are they all unique, or did the same people, or did the same group of people just buy a whole bunch of billboards and put the same thing on it? The Bible doesn't guarantee the date, but it does guarantee that it's going to happen. I think that's the most appropriate way to say it.
this quickly became the most expensive single event advertising campaign ever, totaling over $100 million just to tell people about a rapture on May 21st, 2011.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Although I don't think the church that I went to, I don't think churches normally spend money for advertising other than maybe a little sign in the front of the yard of the church or by the road. I think that's about the only advertising that's truly done, at least for like a local type church. But I know that the organization that spearheaded this campaign, they are not just a small church. It is a big nationwide radio show. Yeah.
How the heck did this happen? Harold Camping.
Yeah.
So who is this hardcore
Camping?
gangster rapturist, Harold Camping?
Right.
He was one of the biggest figures
I should have said at the beginning, but I am doing this really late at night. I'm not too worried about my noise at the moment, but I am kind of tired, so I am going to try not to yawn into the microphone, but there's no promises.
in Christian media. He had a show, Open Forum, hosted by his company, Family Radio.
I don't think I've ever heard Family Radio, or if I have, it was well after. I was going to say well after, but no, I remember listening to quite a few different Christian radio shows when I was younger, before I graduated in 2010. So maybe I had heard a programming from this particular group, but I don't know if any of that was on around the time that me and my dad and me had been listening to the radio or something. I think a lot of times it was a local. I think a lot of times it was a local Christian group on the local radio station and not a syndicated program.
In 2010, it was a media empire worth over
Right.
$70 million.
I always felt kind of. I always felt that there's something. How do I say it? When I hear of a Christian group having a whole bunch of money, there's nothing wrong with having a whole bunch of money, but I do kind of wonder how that money affected the people that are doing the program. Even if the post, I will say, even though I do believe that there are times, a lot of times, that the person, that people within the company, within the Christian company, make a lot of money. I do believe that there are, I know that there are times when they have became evil in a way, or something like that. I don't quite know the best way to explain it, but I do know that there are times that that happens, and for the most part, I worry of how that money is going to affect the people. Oh yes, I was going to say, even though that the person may have became evil or somewhat, I do believe that I want to say that I believe that even though they are like that, God would still use that individual in some way to bring forth his plan, as they would say. Yeah, if you didn't know, I'm a Christian. So this one I might be able to give, maybe I'll be able to give more of a Christian perspective of it, kind of, something like that.
His message went out on over 200 radio
Right.
stations across the United States and many more around the world. His listenership?
Excuse me.
Millions. And when he says the world will end, a decent-sized contingent believed it.
I remember a while ago hearing about a guy, I think in my state, who was able to predict earthquakes and stuff like that very very well. And there was a scare of he had a prediction one day of an earthquake or something like that happening, and there were a lot of people that were, scared that it was going to happen. So my teacher had told me that what he did and many other people had done is that they have called insurance companies and tried to get at least insurance that would cover that particular damage, at least for that day, which I think is kind of funny. But it does show that if somebody is well respected or if somebody is well known, people tend to believe what that person says.
Now, hold on. I can see the comment section filling up with edgy atheists and skeptics already. Listen, at first I also didn't believe Mr. Camping. I get it. There have been many people to predict the rapture before and get it wrong. But wait, give him a chance.
No.
I looked at all the scientific data I could find, like carbon-14 dating or potassium-argon dating.
This time, it's different.
I don't get how any of that kind of dating will help.
Camping is coming at you with irrefutable evidence of the rapture because he's using math. This is not just a bit.
I mean, I do know that there's some things when it comes to the Bible that you can use math. Like, there's a lot of people who will use math to say that the earth is maybe only about 6,000 years old, or something like that. But that's the only other instance where I know that people will try and use some math. There could be some other ones, but I don't think trying to predict the rapture type thing. I don't think using it to predict the rapture works with math at all.
This is actually how I calculated the rapture. So, Jesus died on April 1st, 33 AD.
I see. I do kind of wonder, how do we know? And there's not 33 days in April.
Now take the year 2011. That's a difference of 1,978.
He might have gotten that number the same way that people get, for trying to say that the Earth is less than 10,000 years old.
We times that by 365.2422.
Why? I guess that's days, but why day? Why?
And that gives you the number of days it's been since that, including leap years. That equals 722,449. Now keep that number in mind. Keep it in your head. Atonement. Now that's 5. Completeness. That's...
Where did he get 5 and where did he get 10 for those numbers?
10. And heaven is 17.
How did he get 17 for heaven?
Now we times them all together, and look at this. 850. Then we square that, and that's 700.
Why do you square it?
122,500. A difference of 51.
Okay.
51 days plus April 1st, 2011 equals May 21st, 2011.
I don't get why all that particular math was done. It doesn't make sense to me. Like I was saying, when it comes to people using math to claim, using the math in the Bible to claim that the earth is less than 10,000 years old, you can see that within the Bible, it does show, it does explain some of the lineage of Adam, and it goes all the way to Jesus. And so with that lineage, it also gives times in between each son, or eldest son, something like that. But with that, you have concrete numbers that you can simply just add together to find how much time, to find an approximation of how much time it was until Jesus was born or crucified, and then you can go from there. It's not this weird stuff that this guy did of saying that heaven equaled 17, content to equal 10, and the other one equaled 5, and then multiplying. It's nothing weird like that. It's all very simple, just addition and going from there. So, yeah. Like I said, I do think that there are ways that you could use math, like with the age of the earth type stuff, but other things, maybe not so much.
You did it, Mr. Camping. You've cracked the code. And needless to say, his...
Then, Adam Conover? Why? And I don't know the other guy.
Skeptics were left destroyed by facts and logic. Even the ones who pointed out...
I don't believe he used any facts or logic. It was all gobbledygook that he did.
That he predicted the rapture once before in 1994.
Oh, apparently this isn't his first outing.
Louis Theroux documentary.
1994
when it comes to predicting the rapture.
will be the last day of the final tribulation period.
But shut up. He's got more to say than just the date. My boy is about to tell you how the whole thing is gonna go down.
Well, I mean, we do have some idea as to how things are going to be during that period of time, and even some of the beginning and the end, in the middle of the stuff, but we don't know anything exact. As I said before, the best we can do is try and interpret what was being said, because at the same time, the one who saw all the stuff being done, he didn't know what it was to begin with anyways. He was able to describe it the best he could with the knowledge he had. And with that, we have to then try and figure out what he may have seen. Yeah.
So God's gonna snatch up all the good boys, about 200 million of us. Everyone else?
Well, I mean, that makes sense, because as far as I know, there is an age of everybody has a unique age of innocence or something like that to where you how do I say it? It's it's a period of time that is it is an age where you're not truly yourself yet, and so because of that, you can't. A lot of people believe that you can't be punished for not being saved because you're not because you haven't became of whatever unique age it is for you to be conscious or to be conscious enough or um or 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 self-knowing. I'm not for sure the right words to use, but it's where you can't be punished for not being saved. So I can definitely see that young children and babies would be missing.
Pets? Even the cute ones.
I don't know about the pets. Depending on what you believe, animals and plants do not have souls. And so because of that, that means that they do not go to heaven.
So, dudes, you're getting left behind. Then at 6 p.m. exactly on Christmas Island,
Why Christmas Island?
earthquakes are gonna start doodling all over the place.
But why earthquakes too? I mean, this might be getting more into the realm of just trying to interpret of what's going to happen.
Rolling their way across the earth, taking out almost everyone at exactly 6 p.m. according to their time zone.
Right?
Those earthquakes will then trigger gigantic tsunamis, 10 kilometers tall, and go as far inland as Colorado.
I see. I'm probably okay.
Every soul left behind will be forever damned, eventually to go straight down to heck.
Well, I do know that some people believe that during that particular period in time, you may not be able to be forgiven for what you've done. You may not be able to be saved. I disagree. I want to believe that you could be, you can be, you will be saved if you ask for it with an honest heart. But that's just me, and I guess I should say the reason why I believe that even during that time, you would still be able to get forgiveness to be saved is that because of how Jesus is, I guess. He loves the people of the world, and he will not forsake them, I think. And so because of that, even during that period of time, well, things would be bad for Christians who would be there. I don't believe that he would shun away anybody who wants to be saved. Jesus is supposed to be looked at as forgiveness. Yeah. He is very much a being of forgiveness. And that is a very important aspect of who he is being able to forgive you for what you've done because you became a son or daughter of his family. Something like that. I don't know if I explained it well. I'm sure that a pastor would probably be able to say something better. I can only say what I think it might be.
Now, let's not go lumping everyone in. Most Christian groups did not believe in Harold Camping.
Yeah, I didn't even know who it was. I just remember hearing about it, and I was like, no, you don't know.
Camping's teachings. In fact, most Christian groups don't believe in predicting the rapture at all. and even consider it a sin.
I don't know if it's truly a sin. I do agree that you shouldn't necessarily try, that it makes, okay, I was going to say you shouldn't. I think it's better to say, to me, it makes sense that it's just, it just doesn't matter if you try, because you're going to get it wrong regardless. Like I said, I don't know if it's necessarily a sin, just it's not something that you could ever know.
Matthew 24:36 specifically says that no man can know the day or the hour.
Right, and that's why I said I wouldn't necessarily say it's a sin, it's just that whatever you say, it's going to be wrong.
So to try and guess at it would be to go against Scripture.
I mean, yes, I guess that makes sense. No, maybe not, because the wording, at least in the translation that he used, is that no person will know what the day is, what the day, hour, or second would be. That's just saying that you wouldn't know. So I don't, yeah.
Accordingly, Protestant and Catholic groups denounced Mr. Camping's claims.
May 21st, he's a follower of Harold Camping. The scriptures do not teach that. No man knows the day or the hour.
Yeah, that's true. No man knows, so predicting is just a waste of time. That's the way I see it, and because of that, I don't necessarily say that it's a sin or anything, just that there's no point in doing it. You're wasting your time. It could be better solved doing, well, things that would actually help bring people to being saved.
In fact, even Camping's own producer at Family Radio said it was a bad idea.
Oh.
But that didn't stop Mr. Camping.
How much money did he spend, or the organization spend, on all of this stuff? Because I know at the beginning it said that, what was it, $100 million? Yeah, like $100 million was spent to advertise to everybody that May 21st of 2011 would be the actual date. I wonder how much of that was Family Radio's money, though.
He saw the big churches as corrupt anyway, so he ignored.
Yeah, that's, I think, what I was trying to say at the beginning. When it comes to super big churches, especially those who have big radio or video type things, I always kind of wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
Ignored them and continued charging forward with his prediction.
There's just no reason in the world, no possibility that it will not happen.
Yes, there is many reasons why it may. Well, I don't know if I would say there's many reasons, just that you just don't know the day. Read that passage in Scripture, and yeah.
And so did his followers.
Oh, excuse me.
97% of the people God will destroy.
There's nothing wrong with people going out and evangelizing. Just they don't have the right date. They would never know what the right date is. Ooh, ow.
Do you think this thing is getting blown up too much in the media?
Do I think it's blown up too much in the media? Well, it definitely would be a spectacle, and I can see media companies feeling that if they air coverage of this stuff, they would get, They would get eyes watching, so maybe it has been blown out of proportion by the media.
Elsewhere.
Before we go on, two important details. Number one, Family Radio receives most of its funding through donations.
That's true for a lot of churches, even, churches like this.
Bequeathments, ads, merchandise, and sponsors, but mostly just donations.
Right. Yep. If you didn't know, a lot of churches are purely just ran on the donations of the congregation.
2. Family Radio was established in 1950.
That's old. I wonder if they're still doing stuff today.
Au79. Camping is the owner and CEO,
Right.
but there are two other chairmen on board to keep him in check.
Right, and it makes sense because one person having all the power or the absolute say is not the greatest thing for a company. Sometimes it can be good if the person who does have that authority is a good business person, but I would not be surprised if these three people are simply just Christians who wanted to spread the good word, and then with time and money, they, or at least camping has became warped in what he's doing.
Or at least there were. Unfortunately, in recent years, those other chairmen were getting quite old and sick and having a tougher and tougher time telling camping no to poor decision making. So by 2010, camping effectively had free reign over the company.
Oh, excuse me.
Free reign over its messaging.
Oh, right.
Free reign over its audience.
Mm-hmm.
And free reign over the spending.
Oh, yeah.
And he started spending like, well, like the world was going to end.
Yeah, this greed is the root of all evil, not money. But yeah, I guess I should explain what I was going to say. What I mean by that, greed is the root of all evil, and so that does not mean that money is a bad thing. It's not bad to be rich. It's if you live for the greed of having more money or taking more than what you deserve, I guess. Because I wasn't going to say what you need, because if you're a good business person, you would obviously have more than what you need, and that's not a bad thing to have more than what you need when it comes to money. It's just that if your priority is to live for that money, then it becomes a bad thing. If you become, become a greedy person.
The media soon picked up on the ubiquitous advertising, and the word spread further.
Right.
This, in turn, encouraged more advertising,
Right.
and in turn more media interest. So things were snowballing.
I can see that happening. Eventually the snowball is going to crash into something or just stop.
By early May, everyone was talking about the rapture.
I don't quite remember how it was, but when it comes to at least for me, when it comes to being a part of the big, wide conversation about stuff, or even just listening, I just stick to playing my video games and watching anime, so I most of the time don't know any of these big things that are happening.
The search term End of the World May 21st was number 2 on Google's
That's nice.
search, followed by Harold Camping, May 21st Doomsday, and May 21 Rapture.
Makes sense. All those seem to make sense.
Also in the top 10. The traffic online was so substantial it even caused Family Radio's servers to crash.
Oh, wow.
Soon, it became a bit of a meme. And the internet did what it does best.
Memes, I guess. Whoops.
On May 19th, Operation Rapture was conceived. Okay, lads. We wake up early on May 21st and throw clothes into the street.
Yeah.
It's going to look like a bunch of people were teleported to the afterlife. And hopefully, some
those pictures are good, though.
of them are going to freak out. Well, they had a pretty good turnout. But it doesn't seem like anyone fell for it.
Right.
Disappointingly, it seems like no one showed up for the pre-rapture orgy
That's funny.
organized on Facebook either. Although maybe that's because the location was a bit vague.
Right.
But best of all was an event organized by the Phenomenauts. They got people together in the middle
I don't know who they are.
of town and filled a bunch of sex dolls with helium and attached them to balloons.
Well, another historian says a bunch, but I'm only really seeing a few.
To transcend into the heavens.
But I like the joke.
It was a beautiful moment, and it made a lot of us reflect.
Should have been a better person!
Yoink. People also tried to make some cash off the situation.
Yeah, people always try to make money because people are, well, greedy and not always good people.
They offered to buy camping's followers' stuff on Craigslist for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Offering to buy on Craigslist raptured people's possessions.
There was also a famous eBay auction.
Now that looks funny.
$100,000 post-rapture insurance for only $19.99. But one startup did do quite well.
Dog sit for those called up to heaven.
Based around taking other people's pets in the event of a rapture. And I believe they still operate today.
That's cool. I am kind of curious of what they would be doing. What kind of things they do to get money than just, I guess, try to fill up slots for this.
So up next, we'll show you what happened on May 25th.
Sorry, I'm starting to run out of energy. Like I said like I tried to say at the beginning, I'm recording this very late at night, and I think I'm starting to get low on energy. But I will try my best to get through the rest of this video and to be able to give a commentary over what is going on, something like that.
First, and what happened to all those people who truly believed. But first,
My rhymes are fly, my beats are sick, my crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's 'cause Jesus Christ is my
ad time.
Ad.
Who's there?
Hello, it's me.
Oh my God.
It's Jesus.
It's Jesus. What are you doing here?
Well, I just wanted to
The guy's a gamer.
tell you that me and God have seen your Google search history and were very disappointed.
Yeah. You wanna like my search history.
Oh no.
That's right, and now you're not getting into heaven, or the more exclusive version, Super Heaven, which
Super
features a delicious seafood buffet.
Oh, I like seafood. Although, I like fish and crab.
Oh no.
Yup.
Oh, how I wish I had taken the time to hide my internet viewing habits.
Well, you
Yeah, you would still be able to see.
didn't, and now you're doomed forever.
Yeah. Don't let that
Has
happen
this
to you.
ever happened to you?
No, I haven't died and went to heaven yet.
Go to nordvpn.com/internethistoria to keep your website traffic anonymous.
All looks wholesome to me.
Plus, it also gives you region unlocking. Oh, hey, look, it's the UK's exclusive channels. And you didn't even pay a telly license.
Tele license are stupid.
Oi, oi, stop that. That'll be £52.09. Too late,
No.
copper. I've Brexited to Australia now, a place where no law can touch me. How much would you pay for this service? $1 billion?
No.
Literally gazillions?
No.
Not today. Get 75% off 3-year plan at nordvpn.com/internethistorian and use code internethistorian to get a free extra month, which includes unlimited data, ultra fast speeds, region unlocking in all these places. Also, a map of the world, which is useful for
a map.
Things such as geography.
Yep.
Wow, that's so good I might even get code Internet Historian NordVPN
Why would Jesus need it?
myself.
Yes, Jesus, I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Ad over. Before we go on with Mr. Camping, I want to point out two other predictions. In 1806, Mary Bateman also predicted doomsday.
Yeah, if you didn't know, people have been trying to predict the rapture or doomsday, as internet historians said it, for a very long time.
Through a chicken. It was dubbed the prophet hen of Leeds because it started laying eggs with the message, Christ is coming, marked onto them.
That's
amazing. And it all appeared legit. Locals saw the hen lay eggs with the message already written onto them.
Right.
Can't fake that.
Well, apparently you can.
Oh my God, people said, and many more flocked to the area to pray. Well, on inspection of the eggs, it was soon figured out what was going on. Mary Bateman had used a corrosive substance to etch into the egg. And then, a couple of minutes before everyone would gather around to watch the chicken lay,
Right.
Mary would... Oh dear.
Yeah. Even though it's not meant to go back in.
Come on, man. It's not funny. She was an interesting character, though. Claimed to be a witch, poisoned a couple...
Oh. I didn't know that she claimed to be a witch.
That same year with a deadly pudding. She was later tried and hanged in 1809.
Well, not surprising. She claimed she was a witch.
Strips of skin from her corpse were tanned and sold as magic charms to ward off evil spirits. What?
That's weird. That's very weird.
What the fuck am I reading? Also, shout out to 2012. Remember that one?
Oh, yes.
It's December 21st, 2012.
Was that the whole Mayan thing? That was kind of weird. But I was going to say, when it comes to hearing about people using magic charms to ward off evil, especially Christians, that sounds very weird. It doesn't feel like that's something that would that doesn't sound like something that would match or be something that you should do as a Christian.
Marks the end of the world.
Well, we came because it's the end of the world tomorrow, and we thought we'd better pop in here because apparently this place will be saved.
Wait, why would it be safe?
With accents like those, you would hope they'd be the first to go come the apocalypse.
Well, that's mean.
Okay, let's get on with it. Let's take a closer look at some of the people who followed camping. Take Robert Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, his story is kind of sad.
60, former government employee.
I had plans after I retired, but I put them all aside.
Well, yeah, if the world's going to be ending, then what good does a retirement plan have?
I feel as if I've been drafted.
Well, I mean, I guess I get what he's saying when it comes to trying to evangelize. Some people get called to do so, and with that you could say that with that you can say that a person has been drafted to try and save people.
He took almost all of his life savings, $140,000, to have 3,000 posters put up in New York City subways and bus stops.
Yeah, I feel that he wanted to help people. I would want to say that camping probably wanted to help people too, but part of me feels like that he wanted to be famous, and then with being, well, I guess he was already famous, but to be more famous, and then with that fame, having more money to spend on whatever it is. But I feel that this guy really wanted to help people, and he, I don't quite know how to say it, but he got, I want to say the word to deceive, but I don't know if that's the right word to use, but he definitely wasted his time in this particular way to get people saved. I do hope that maybe he did, even though I guess he was backing the wrong horse when it comes to evangelizing. I do hope that some people did realize that even though the date is wrong, and that hopefully they also know that you can never know what the date is. Even with that, I do hope that there are people that realize that it's not a bad thing to be a Christian, to live your life in that particular way. So hopefully he did actually help people. He did actually get people saved with what he tried to do. But I wouldn't know, and I don't think Internet Historian talks about anything like that.
I'm not going to tell you I'm down to my last penny, but, you know, it's a good chunk of what I had saved up. Sure.
Oh, I just thought about it. I hope this guy's doing well. Wouldn't he be in like his 80s now? No, be like in his 70s. Because Internet Historian said that he was 60, and that was 2011. And now it's 2023, so he'd be a little bit halfway into his 70s.
Does it matter if you're down to your last penny if the doomsday is coming?
No, it doesn't.
And he's not the only one. According to the LA Times, the Bauer family hopped in their minivan and drove across the country to see all of the big landmarks before it was too late, racking up thousands of dollars in credit card debt in the process. They really...
I imagine that there were a lot of people that believed that. They wanted to see the world one last time.
Believed they were going to die. Worse still,
I don't know if die is the way... As far as I know, when it comes to the rapture, you don't die, you just get taken.
The Ramsey family. The father quit his job. So did his mum.
Right.
His younger brother quit high school. And his wife Marcia thought she was never going to meet her unborn child.
Yeah, that's sad.
Some of these people's lives got pretty fucked up.
I mean, it's a big thing to think about, because you're going to be taken from this world and brought to heaven. So the things that you wanted to do, see within this world, you wouldn't be able to do. Although I do think that she probably would get to see her unborn child, because her child would be raptured with her, and from there she'd be able to meet the child. But she wouldn't have been able to meet the child, the unborn child. She wouldn't have been able to meet the child in a physical sense, though. She would meet him, she would meet the kid in a spiritual sense, with being in heaven. Oh.
The day is here.
Yep.
It's rapture time. Here we go. Oh, Lord, I'm ready.
Oh,
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a rapture. Watch me, guys.
Ah.
Mr. Camping spent the day at home in quiet solace and contemplation, waiting for
Because he knew that what he did was stupid.
6 p.m. But that's not what Mr. Fitzpatrick did. A confident Fitzpatrick marched into the middle of Times Square
I mean, I'm happy that he's confident, but sadly,
amongst a crowd of mocking bystanders, ready to prove everyone wrong.
6 o'clock. In 3 minutes. If it does not happen.
I don't know if internet historians said it, but did Camping actually predict the time as well? Not just the date, but the time of day?
What will that mean?
I wouldn't entertain that question.
You're competent.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Camping said something about 6 o'clock, whatever your time would be.
That's what I read in the Bible.
Here it comes.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily in the Bible.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Nothing happened. And then 6:01, 6:02, and by 6:03, Fitzpatrick's convictions turned to confusion.
Yeah, I feel sad for him.
And it's pretty hard not to feel sorry for him.
Yep.
I didn't water my plants. I didn't do the dishes before I left. I didn't expect to be going back home. But it looks like I will be going back home.
But look, just so we're clear, we're all still alive.
Yes.
And the rapture didn't happen.
Yeah, I think it's sad that he ended up making himself look like a fool. But I do hope that he's still strong within the faith. And that he's doing well if he hasn't died. I mean, he was old.
Camping was not in the same celebratory mood.
I'm ready to shoot myself.
My goodness. I mean, you made a big blunder, but I don't think you should do that.
Or go on a booze trip.
The next day was a
Nor should you consider picking up excessive drinking either. It's not good for you.
Sunday. People were crushed, confused.
Yeah, a lot of people were taken advantage of as well.
looking for answers.
Yeah, I imagine so.
They showed up at Camping's church expecting to see him.
Well, he's very big and famous. You might get to see him, possibly, but you won't get to talk to him.
But someone else was holding the congregation.
Not surprised that they have a substitute pastor to come in that day.
Instead, Camping spent the day holed up in his house.
Give me a day. No interviews at all today.
But I'm wondering how you feel today about your prediction.
Well, earlier he said he wanted to shoot himself and drink.
I'm bewildered. I'm very bewildered, and that's all I can say right now.
On Monday, he appeared on his program.
Oh, right.
But this time, no open forum. But what he did have was a whole bunch of rationalizations. In fact, your boy was doubling down.
That's not good. That's not good. There are times that I get doubling down is a good thing to do, even if it's to your detriment, because it can show that you are committed to the cause or what you said. But this is one of those times. Oh, excuse me. And this is one of those times that I believe he should have backed down and said he was wrong and that he was foolish in trying to predict the time, the day that it would happen, but he didn't.
With another prediction. October 21st, 2011.
Yeah. Didn't happen.
This is it. And it will continue right up until October 21, 2011. And at that time, the whole world will be destroyed.
Now I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
And okay,
now, I will say, if you didn't know, the world will be destroyed one day. I mean, eventually there will be a loud noise, a big bang, as you would say, and the world will be gone, something like that. But that may not be until a very long time from now.
maybe he got it slightly wrong, but this time he has irrefutable proof of the rapture.
As far as I know, he believed he had irrefutable proof beforehand.
Using math.
Again.
So Camping took May 21st. Then he looked in the book of John, which states they caught 153 fish. So, add 153 days to May 21st, making the new rapture October 21st. How can you argue? It's flawless.
No.
Yes, Mr. Camping. Add the fish number. You've got it this time. On Tuesday, he opened the phones on his radio show, and it was the first time that his show was ever exciting to watch.
Why didn't the rapture happen on May 21st? Don't cut me off yet. And why do you believe so much on it's going to happen another 5 months? You're really pathetic. You know, I wasted all my money, and I sent it.
That's sad.
To you. Now I don't have nothing. I was putting my hopes in you. You understand? I was.
Well, as far as I know, we're not supposed to put our hopes into an actual person. You're supposed to put your hopes into Jesus himself.
I can see you face to face. I'd smack you right in the...
What say you now?
Calling names doesn't help anything.
I mean, he's right. Calling him names isn't going to help. At least, whatever situation you might be in. Maybe it can relieve some of your stress, some of your anger, that you get to lash out at the person. But if you're like in a situation where you don't have any money, because you believed so strongly what was going to happen, calling him names isn't going to get you out of that hole.
After that, viewership steadily declined.
Yeah.
Now, after his prediction...
I mean, I want to say, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that his program would still be something that a Christian could that a Christian could get some sort of insights from, but who knows?
For October 21st, the media asked him,
Am I on cocaine?
I'm not gonna lie, I think that's silly to ask. At least from a Christian point of view, I think it's silly to ask him if he's on cocaine. To me, he just made a big mistake, but he is unwilling to own up to that mistake, or at least admit that he did make a mistake.
No, they asked him,
will you dissolve the company in October?
Oh my.
His response?
I am not the CEO.
Wait, I thought he was.
I'm a servant of God working here, and God is the CEO. We look to him.
Oh gosh. Yeah, you can definitely tell that he feels like he's cornered or something because he's not wanting to take responsibility for what he said. I get the metaphor, or the, is that the right word, metaphor? Probably not. I get what he means by of God being the CEO and that he's just a servant, but that's not how it works in the real world, I guess is the way to say it. You are the CEO, and because you are the CEO, you have to take responsibility for what you did with the company. Yes, you can still be a servant, but with being a servant, you are the CEO. With being a servant, you are also the CEO of the company, trying to do good for the Lord, but you're refusing to ask forgiveness from those, from those who you have wronged by your mistake.
All the time. He has 1,000 ways of getting me out of here. We have to leave that question with the Lord, not with you or with me. That's not our business. That's God's business.
What? What do you mean? I mean, yeah, if he wanted to, he could get you out of there right away, but what? What he's saying doesn't make too much sense to me.
And how prescient. Because 2 weeks
I mean, I say it doesn't make any sense to me, and it doesn't. The only thing to me it makes me feel is that he's trying to weasel out of his mistake and the effects that that mistake had on many people that would watch his show.
later, he had a stroke.
Well, be under a lot of stress, so not surprised.
I do hope he gets the message. But he didn't. A month later, he was back to doing his show.
Oh. Yeah, that might have been a cue to just stop, or at least just run a local church, but maybe not a big syndicated radio show.
And he pressed on with his new prediction.
A third prediction? I forgot this was it. I forgot that he predicted it 3 times.
October 16th, though, he came to his senses. He admitted that no man could know exactly when the rapture would happen.
Yes. Nobody knows.
And made no statement when October 21st came and went. Finally, on November 1st, he retired from his leadership position at
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. He probably should have done that a lot sooner.
Family Radio. Just under 2 years later, he was dead.
Well, still might be stressed from the thing. I hope his family's okay, though.
The result of complications from a fall at his home.
Oh.
It wasn't big, it was him. Look at him.
What?
Get him.
What's wrong with him?
But look, I don't want to be too harsh.
Right.
He was a flawed man.
Yes, I don't believe he was evil. Or at least, I want to believe he wasn't evil.
He messed up some people's lives.
Yeah.
But in the end, he confessed his mistakes too.
That's good.
I was totally convinced totally convicted of it, but I was wrong. I was wrong. I have sinned.
I think he truly believed the rapture was coming.
Oh, yeah. I don't believe he was evil.
This wasn't one big grift. And everyone just kind of got swept up in the excitement of it all.
Right.
So let's put a bow on it with what happened to Family Radio.
Right.
During the Rapture campaign, Family Radio raised a lot of money.
Yeah, I could see them getting a lot of money. A lot of people want to say that they're being helpful with spreading the message. And one way to do that is to give one way to do that would be to give to an organization that is helping to spread the message, even if you can't do it yourself.
But not as much as they spent. As well as draining their funds, they sold off important radio stations to pay for a lot of the advertising.
Oh.
In the process, they greatly tarnished their reputation.
Right.
They were bringing in scores of millions in revenue in 2011, but by 2012, it was down to single-digit millions. Now, this is still a substantial amount, but not when you consider their operating costs were $26 million per year. And they couldn't rely on donations to make up the windfall because goodwill had dried up. Now, with fewer radio stations and a shrinking reach, they moved to distance themselves from camping and his baggage. Shows from mainstream Christian groups that Harold pronounced as corrupt were brought into the programming schedule.
Right. I know a few of those, like Answers in Genesis. I think that was one that the internet historian put on the thing. I think. I don't see it on the thingy, but oh well.
They announced they would no longer air the
Actually, it might be Creation Moments.
teachings of Mr. Camping. And finally, on their website, they removed the archives of Mr. Camping's audio recordings.
I don't like that. Something tells me that it's probably best. It probably would have been good. No, okay, let me see. I think it still would have been good to keep his content there, because even though he made a mistake, just as an internet historian had said, and I had as well, I don't believe he was evil, and so because of that, I can see many people still finding value within his sermons or his talking. I'm not for sure what kind of format his radio show is supposed to be. But yes, I do imagine that there's probably many people who would still be able to find value within what he said.
Okay, I've kind of bummed everyone out, but that's the end of the story. I've got nothing else to say. So
Alrighty.
Here's a whole bunch of weird Baroque and Renaissance paintings.
Oh.
Help me. Mom warning me not to fill up before dinner.
Okay. I guess he's done for now. So, yeah. I wanted to do a reaction to this. I saw another reaction video not long before I watched this. I had seen this before. I've seen this before. And I didn't quite remember everything that was in it, but because of the subject matter, I wanted to say something. I thought that it would be something that I might be able to add to because of my background when it comes to Christianity and such. So I don't really know what more to say. So I will say, I will say like and subscribe, and yeah. I always have a bad time with these closings. Okay, so like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to. Hopefully, criticism, hopefully a good one, or at least actual criticism and not being mean. But regardless, I will say, regardless of the time of day that it is for you, either that being noon, morning, or night, I hope that you are having a good time. And with that, I wish upon you. And with that, I bid you adieu.